Today we have a 2004 Dodge Ram 1500. It's got the 5.7 Hemi. It's a SLT. And the customer's concerned because his oil pressure gauge keeps dropping to zero. Sometimes it doesn't work at all, starts it back up and it works. So we're gonna put a new oil pressure sending unit in it. We're gonna show you where that's located and how to do it. On this vehicle, the oil pressure gauge happens to be right there. And sometimes he said when it starts, it stays right there. Other times it goes up in the middle where it's supposed to read. So he's concerned about it. And we are going to change oil on this vehicle. So he thought as long as we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and replace that sending unit also. Once you get underneath the car, it's right by your oil filter, just above it. I don't think it'd be any easier taking the oil filter off, but I'm going to do that just in case it helps you see it. But that red tab that's up there, it's got to be pushed over to the side, and then we got to push on that to disconnect it, and then we'll pull the oil sending unit off. So we got the oil filter out of there. It doesn't really make it any easier. Grab a pair of needle nose and pull that red tab, which is a lock on there, and you can see to the left of it, there you got to push that down to release the connector. Get your hand in there. It's kind of tough to release that tab, to push it down so it'll come off. The easiest thing would be if the radiator hose is out of there. So we had to take the bottom radiator hose off to get our hands up in there better, because of the fact that we could have done it if this would have released, but would push down there, it wouldn't do anything. With 260, it just had dirt, grime, and everything else. So we got to get a screwdriver and lift this up inside there gently, and then put another screwdriver on this side and pry it up gently. And we didn't want to break it, so that came off. Now we're going to remove our sensor and then plug it back in and reinstall the hose. Now these are 1 1/16, so you can use either a socket or open-end wrench, whatever you have, or even if you got a pair of channel locks or whatever, you can do it that way too. But if you have the socket or the open-end, be better. We did get one from Advance, and it had it had 3 prongs in there. This has only got 1, so we had to run out and get grab another one. So you want to double check that before you install it and find out it won't plug in correctly. So you got 1 prong on this one, 1 prong on that one, so we're ready to install it. First we tightened it with a 1 1/16 socket, and then we put that on there until it clicked. And now we just got to put our red locking tab in there and then reinstall the hose. Now once you put that red locking tab in, it shouldn't come off. I'm going to also reinstall my oil filter. You didn't have to take that off, but I had to change oil anyway. So I'm going to put the oil filter on next, and then reinstall my coolant hose. Okay, the oil pressure sending unit's installed. I put my hose on, my filter on, put my locking tab in, and that's all it takes to replace your oil pressure sending unit on a 2004 Ram 1500 with a 5.7 Hemi.